For speaking to ANI, my first and foremost question is that we are celebrating the 10 years of Make in India schemes and 10th anniversary of this scheme, and which was a signature pitch by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. We have seen the journey, 10 years. What do you have to say on that, sir?
My friend, it's the story of the lost decade versus the last decade. 2004 to 14, India went into despondency. Investor interest was shattered. Corruption had become the order of the day, so much so that even an environment clearance was not possible during the Congress government. Economy was down, foreign exchange reserves down, rupee falling, growth down, inflation high, interest rates high. People had given up on India. Even domestic investments were stalled. Coal blocks getting cancelled because of corruption, telecom licenses getting cancelled by the court. In that scenario, Prime Minister Narendra Modi took charge in 2014. And the last decade has been one where the macroeconomic fundamentals have been made strong. The country, through a whole lot of measures, Startup India, one district, one product, our 20 new industrial smart cities, reduction of compliance burden, Jan Vishwas bill to decriminalize laws, improvement in our ease of doing business ranking, promoting technology, innovation. It has been a holistic, whole of the government, whole of the nation approach in partnership with private sector, both in India and internationally, that we have been successful in making the brand India recognized all over the world. Today, the world looks up to India as a manufacturing destination because India offers the 4Ds: decisive leadership, demographic demand, a demographic dividend with a young population, working age, and power to go with skills and talent, a large demand of 140 crore aspirational Indians, as well as a vibrant democracy where the rule of law prevails, so that people find safety and security, predictability in dealing with India. This is the India that attracts both domestic and international investors after one decade of good governance by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. And we are all supercharged and ready to get into the next decade to take India to become a manufacturing superpower.
Piyush sir, if I may ask about the impact of this policy, about the imports and how much it has about the imports and exports as well. If you can touch upon that aspect, as sir.
India's exports, which for a long period of time was stagnant, have been increasing post-COVID very significantly, both in merchandise and in services. The world today recognizes that the scale at which you can produce and export from India is mind-boggling. And the competitiveness of costing the product is also very attractive. India today offers both a domestic demand, and with that domestic demand and large scale, we become competitive in other nations. I'm very confident that this thrust given to export, including making districts as export hubs, will hold India in good stead. We are seeing newer and newer destinations for our export goods, newer and newer products. We are seeing our agricultural exports, marine exports grow up dramatically. Thanks to the production-linked incentive schemes, we are now seeing mobile phones grow, so much so that electronics is now the third largest export sector from India. So all in all, we can clearly see that Make in India has been the fulcrum of significant benefits in export from India, innovate in India, design in India, serve from India, come to India as a tourist. So it's been an incredible journey of 10 years and great relationships that Prime Minister Modi has built across the world. I congratulate him on this very successful trip to the United States of America, a historic visit. The Modi and us, the Modi and US program was a grand hit at Long Island. The Quad meeting at President Biden's home in Delaware, where 4 world leaders discussed the geopolitical and strategic relationship that we all share, and his own engagement with world companies and CEOs of Fortune 500 companies. All of the programs in the United States have further encouraged investment and manufacturing in India.
Piyush sir, a landmark change has also happened that the imports have reduced, which we have not seen prior to 2014. How did you manage to do that? The imports have been has reduced quite a lot.
Prime Minister Modi had focused on Atmanirbhar Bharat, and we have focused on those products where our import dependency was high to promote the manufacturing and domestic availability of those products. We believe that international trade is important, very often necessary, because every country has their own competitive and comparative advantages. So imports per se is not bad. We are looking at larger engagement with the world, both in import and export, so that products where we have the edge, we are able to make and sell across the world. If there is a product which we do import, there are 2 reasons for it. One is we may not have the raw material or we may not be competitive in that. The other is the rapidly increasing domestic demand. With the prosperity of being the world's fastest growing large economy for 3 years in a row, expected to be the fastest growing economy for decades into the future, and an economy which will grow from $3.5 trillion to nearly $35 trillion. Imagine the huge demand that our young people, our aspirational 140 crore Indians, will have in the years to come. And initially, when we run out of domestic manufacturing capacity, that is important. Until the world sees that there's an opportunity, there's a market in India, they invest, the gestation period is there. So it'll be a cat and mouse game. Yes. The demand in India will grow. Our competitiveness will get better. People will start manufacturing more and more in India. Because of increasing demands, you will see spikes in imports, growth in manufacturing, and that will be a continuous journey where imports will keep getting replaced with domestically manufactured, high quality goods at affordable prices.
So, one more aspect is when right now we are celebrating the 10th anniversary, 10 years anniversary, and throughout the journey, you have been spearheading the policy as well. And you have seen a lot of criticism from the opposition talking about the jobs. Now, what do you have to say on the success of this Make in India to the opposition who have been criticizing, or all those critics, sir?
Well, manufacturing is giving a huge impetus to job creation. You see the Apple story. Now, Apple i16 made in India is launched in India. And who makes them? Women working out of the Chennai factory in Tamil Nadu. When we used to import air conditioners, we never thought that we could become a global manufacturer of air conditioners and a potential exporter of air conditioning equipment. We are now already a 50% domestic value added industry in air conditioners. And with 4 compressor plants coming up, India will soon become an exporter of air conditioners. And I can go on and on about so many products. Manufacturing creates jobs. Manufacturing creates an entire ecosystem, which creates entrepreneurs and provides jobs to young men and women. At the same time, we must not forget that as manufacturing grows, there's jobs created in setting up factories, in setting up housing for all those people who get jobs, in building the infrastructure required, the logistics ecosystem, the business ecosystem that comes in, hotels, restaurants, taxis, cars. It's a entire new story that is written along with manufacturing and with infrastructure development. Therefore, the critics can keep crying hoarse, but the reality is that even today, Larsen and Toubro says they are not able to get workmen for the infrastructure projects which they are running. They need 45,000 people immediately. They need 25,000 more technical and engineering people for their IT division. And I know so many instances of people looking for good, high quality manpower, which is available in India, which is the strength of India. But yet, there is a greater demand than the supply. I think the effort that Prime Minister Modi is doing on skilling, reskilling, and upskilling, and the 4 crore youth who will benefit from the PM schemes announced in the budget with an allocation of 2 lakh crores is certainly going to help our youth become more employable, more skilled, more qualified, and ensure that they all get a job. Similarly, I do believe going forward with increasing opportunities in high-tech manufacturing, more and more people will be moving into this new ecosystem, either as job creators or working in those jobs. Gradually, the charm of a government job, which often makes people who already have a job also run towards or apply for a government job, will fade away. And India will become a superpower in terms of a young, empowered population, young people being job creators, not job seekers.
You, sir, what would be the way ahead for you for Make in India? How do you see this? Because we also talk about Viksit Bharat. What would be the roadmap ahead, sir, if I may ask?
I see in the Amrit Kal, India gradually expanding its manufacturing base to meet the large Indian and international demand. And in the Amrit Kal towards Viksit Bharat 2047, the share of manufacturing will also go up to 25%. We will see more and more industrial townships with plug and play infrastructure, walk to work as the Honorable Prime Minister has guided us, and also the national single window maturing so that ease of doing business and our own efforts led by Prime Minister Modi to make sure that India becomes recognized the world over as a corruption-free government with our zero tolerance for corruption policy will all ensure a great and bright future for manufacturing in India. Make in India is a mantra that will transform and reform the way India works, helping us perform to the best of our abilities towards Viksit Bharat.
Right, sir. And one last question in Hindi for our Hindi audience, sir. Sir, 10 साल हो गए प्रधानमंत्री का आह्वान था मेक इन इंडिया का 10वीं एनिवर्सरी हम मना रहे हैं कैसे देखते हैं इस जर्नी को सर और क्या कहना चाहेंगे उस पर
10 वर्ष का जो ये प्रवाह रहा है मेक इन इंडिया के प्रोग्राम का, ये माननीय प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी के कुशल नेतृत्व और दूरदर्शी सोच का परिणाम है कि आज दुनिया भर में भारत की साख बनी है एक मैन्युफैक्चरिंग देश के नाते। लाखों करोड़ों लोगों को इसमें नौकरी का भी साधन मिला है और कई सारे हमारे उद्योजक आज उद्योग के क्षेत्र में, सेवा के क्षेत्र में एंटरप्रेन्योर्स के रूप में, स्वयं रोजगार बनाने के रूप में आज काम कर रहे हैं। सरकार की कई सारी योजनाएं, चाहे वो प्रोडक्शन लिंक्ड इंसेंटिव स्कीम हो, जहां उत्पादन के सामने लोगों को इंसेंटिव दिया जाता है, या हमारी व्यवस्थाओं को सरल करने का प्रयास, ईज ऑफ डूइंग बिजनेस, कंप्लायंस बर्डन कम करने का काम, कानूनों को में से जेल के प्रावधान को खत्म करने का प्रयास, या जो हमने भारत में कौशल विकास की अलग अलग योजनाएं चलाई हैं, अगर हम सभी चीजों को एक साथ एक माला में पिरोए, एक नेकलेस की तरह बनाए, तो ध्यान में आएगा कि ये सभी प्रोग्राम एक दूसरे के साथ कड़ी से जुड़े हुए हैं। और इन सबको जब हम एक परिप्रेक्ष्य में देखते हैं तो ध्यान आता है मोदी जी ने कैसे एक बहुत ही कमजोर बिगड़ी हुई अर्थव्यवस्था, जहां दुनिया ने भारत पर से विश्वास उठा दिया था, लोगों को लगने लगा था भारत में कोई भविष्य नहीं है, भारत एक भ्रष्टाचारी व्यवस्थाओं से जाना जाता था, कभी कोलगेट का स्कैम, कभी टेलीकॉम का स्कैम, कभी अंतरिक्ष देवास का स्कैम, रोज कोई ना कोई भ्रष्टाचार का मुद्दा कांग्रेस के समय निकलता था। ऐसी परिस्थिति में 2014 में हिम्मत करना कि भारत को एक मैन्युफैक्चरिंग हब बनाएंगे, दुनिया का मैन्युफैक्चरिंग भारत आएंगे, भारत को आत्मनिर्भर बनाएंगे, ये सोच प्रधानमंत्री जी के एक प्रकार से बहुत ही निर्णायक नेतृत्व का परिणाम है, उनके आत्मविश्वास का परिचय है, और उनकी देश के प्रति संवेदनशील सोच, देशभक्ति का भी एक प्रकार से नमूना है कि उन्होंने भारत को एक विश्व शक्ति बनाने के लिए कोई कसर नहीं छोड़ी। और 10 वर्ष की उनकी जो मेहनत है, 10 वर्ष में जिस प्रकार से उन्होंने दिन रात हर कण कण, हर क्षण क्षण देश के प्रति काम किया है, उसका परिणाम है कि आज देश की अर्थव्यवस्था एक मजबूत अर्थव्यवस्था के रूप में पहचानी जाती है। पूरे विश्व में प्रधानमंत्री जी के नेतृत्व पर लोकप्रियता है, लोगों को आकर्षण है, और विश्व का आज विश्वास भारत के ऊपर है, प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी पर है कि वो विश्व की समस्याओं को भी सुलझाएंगे और विश्व की अर्थव्यवस्था को भी, विकसित देशों की अर्थव्यवस्था को भी और आगे बढ़ाने में भारत का एक अहम भूमिका रहेगी। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so